would get death threats because you lost someone's sand dune P250 for real. Like
Oh
I'm
my
not joking.
God.
Like I would receive death threats for every single match.
Yeah.
So whatever hate you guys have, send it to me. I'm a 35-year-old man. If you guys want to send the hate to me, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, okay? So send whatever hate you guys want my way. There's 5 roles, one for each one. So
Yeah.
you have to be the best person in that role to make this team. Okay. And the reality is that the people we trialed, not one Indian player was the best at his role. If we had an Indian ass pass, I swear to God, he'd be on this team.
Yeah.
Indian ass pass would be on this team. We just there's no one that talented yet.
Now let's talk a little bit about the people who watch you and the people who are going to be watching this video. The people from my country who are now genuinely looking at GE as a team that is now has been for the last 2 years in a bit of a slumber. We've not been the best of teams. We've had rosters. First one had great potential. We had Texture, Monnier, SK Rossi. We had Ronsky, Basi, all in the same team. It was amazing. Monnier and Texture went to different teams and now they're doing well as well. And it kind of created this narrative that every time somebody leaves GE, they somehow end up doing better, and the fans kind of they bit into that narrative, right? I want to ask you if there's anything that you could say to the fans, like what to expect, or or what not to expect from G this time around. What would it be?
Expect us to win. That's it.
Simple.
Yeah, it's simple, bro. Just expect us to win. Like that's my expectation. That should be your guys' expectation. I'm okay with you guys holding me to that expectation.
Hmm.
Because I'm holding myself to that. Like as much as you guys want to win, bro, I want to win more. I promise you. This is this is not only do I love this team, right? Because like anytime I'm on ride or die for that team, bro. Like
Yeah.
like I love my team and I hate everybody else, right? Like it's just how I am as a person. It's how I am as a competitor and stuff like that. Like if you're not on my team, f you type stuff.
Yeah.
And so like, and I'm okay with you guys holding me to the expectation. Like I'm talking big because I have big expectations. Like I wouldn't say these things, I wouldn't talk this way, if I didn't feel like these are realistic goals that we can and should have,
Yeah.
not only as players in a team, but as a fan base as a whole. Like I want to win for you guys. I want to win for myself. Like this is important for the rest of my life, man. Like if I win here, I
Hmm.
set myself up for the next 5, 10 years, like whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, as much as it's important for you guys and you guys really want us to win, bro, I want us to win more. I promise you.
I'm pretty sure, and this is me just being a little candid about, what is, our region. While we have some really supportive and, great fans, we've also got a very toxic side to, people who have in the past abused players, who've abused coaches, especially the previous ones as well. And, while I've always said this on my stream as well, criticize the play, not the player. Never abuse them. If they've done a mistake in the decision making, is something you can talk about. It's something you can pull out. You can tell them, what, this is probably not the right decision to make, and stuff like that. um did you come in knowing that previously? Have you known? And how, if at all it comes towards you, let's say you get 1 or 2 losses, how do you plan on tackling that kind of pressure that comes from the people who constantly watch you and keep commenting?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a pro for so long. I was a pro back when the CS:GO lounge days, where like you would get death threats because you lost someone's sand dune P250 for real. Like
Oh
I'm
my
not joking.
God.
Like I would receive death threats for every single match, and that's when I sucked as a player. Like I individually, I was an IGL, all this kind of stuff. I had the boaster excuse, right? Like I
Yeah.
drop 5 bombs sometimes, and yeah, you get genuine death threats. And like, bro, it's just words. It's just words on a screen. The motherfuckers are never gonna come see me. They don't know where I live. I'm not worried about. I'm not stressed about it.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're free to have your opinion. Like that's part of it's part of the spotlight. It's part of the like I grew up watching sports, bro. I grew up watching sport ESPN constantly. You're saying that this guy sucks. This guy sucks. Like you know what I mean? That's the reality of the way media works, and that's the
Yeah.
reality of way fandom works. And so yeah, feel free to say what you guys want. What I'll say, and I've said this on my stream, but like what I'll say is send the hate to me. I'm the one talking big. I'm the one putting these expectations on us. I'm the one saying that we're gonna do this or that.
Yeah.
So whatever hate you guys have, send it to me. I'm a 35-year-old man. If you guys want to send the hate to me, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, okay? So send whatever hate you guys want my way. Don't send it to the 19-year-old kids, the kids that are just playing for games, the kids that are living out their dream. Let them live their dream and be happy. Send the hate
Yeah.
to me, not to them. All right.
Yeah, and a flip side of the same thing, your players, you are mentioning this, but there are going to be, probably some, comments, some messages, something that's going to end up coming to your players. Let's say one of them has a bad game, right? what are you gonna tell? How are you gonna help your players go through this, if at all they're a little fragile about this? How are you gonna help them get through the toxicity of the fans who might be causing them?
So if it ever becomes an issue, if it does, I just we just delete social media for a while. Delete the phone on your app, like delete the shit on your app. Don't open it. Don't worry about it. Don't matter what anyone's saying. We have our own job to do. We have our own shit to do.
Hmm.
Focus on us. Don't focus on the outside noise. And then yeah, man, like I said, same things like what I've been doing, like trying to do whatever I can to direct the hate towards me and
Hmm.
not the players, because like I said, they don't deserve that hate, man. It's just kids playing video games. You don't deserve to hate. They don't deserve no hate because they make a mistake, bro.
Fair.
Mistakes happen. The team who won champions last year, I swear to God, if they go Vodreview is about to pull out 10 mistakes every single map they play.
Yeah.
Mistakes happen. No, there will be no perfect team, just like in life, bro. No one's perfect.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be perfect in this game. Everyone's gonna make mistakes in this game. It's about limiting the mistakes that you make and capitalizing on the mistakes the other team makes.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all this is about.
Yeah. Even
And
in a
so yeah,
13-0, you can't go without making mistakes. So
yeah,
even
yeah. Someone's gonna make a mistake in that 13-0. Just your team made up for it in some way.
yeah. There is one particular discourse that also has been very much up the race. That is, Indian representation, right? That they try to come and pull it up. And you can choose to dodge this if you want. But, SK Rossi was, the poster boy. He was, the shining child of, India's Valorant. Lightning Fast followed up last season. And now we have no Indians. But even though that is there, the point is that as G as an org, we're looking to win. What do you feel about Indian talent in general? And do you think any of them are good enough to be there? Or do you think how long will it take, if not now, how long will it take for Indian talent to reach tier one, and what do they need to do?
Okay, so let's start with the question of, do I think anyone is talented currently enough? I think if there's 11, 12 teams in VCT APAC, we are not the only team that can pick up an Indian player.
Exactly.
They're all fully available to play for any team. They're all eligible to play for any team. There's no import rules for any of them. So if there was someone that was fucking insane, I promise he's going to be on a team. Like I said, talent trumps all.
Yeah.
That's the reality. No matter how bad of a teammate someone is, if he's insane, he's going to be on a team. Okay. So if they were talented enough, if there was some insane Indian player, he would be on a roster. What I will say is there is talent in the region, right? But there's limited spots in this game, guys. Like we have 5 spots. If you're not one of the best, if you're literally not the best person in your role available, you don't get on our team. There's one fucking person for each role on this team. There's 5 roles, one for each one. So
Yeah.
you have to be the best person in that role to make this team. Okay? And the reality is that the people we trialed, not one Indian player was the best at his role.
Hmm.
The closest was lightning fast. And like I'm not bashing on the guy whatsoever because I thought he was talented. He definitely showed promise. He needs to work on his util usage for the most part. But look at his stats last season in VCT, bro.
Yeah.
He was either last or second to last stat wise. Like he was at the bottom, and he was what I would consider the best out of all the Indian players that we trialed talent wise.
Hmm.
And so stats don't mean everything. His team struggled as a whole. That's not on him completely. But like if you're Aspas, if we had an Indian Aspas, I swear to God he'd be on this team.
Yeah.
Indian Aspas would be on this team. We just there's no one that talented yet. It doesn't mean there can't be. Doesn't mean that there's not players with promise. But you guys are starting from behind, just like China. You know what I mean? There was no, Kang Kang didn't exist before Kang Kang existed. You know what I mean? So we have to find our Kang Kang. We
Yeah.
have to create our Kang Kang. We have to work our ass off to get there. Those don't just grow on trees. You know what I mean? They don't just show up one day.
Yeah.
It's having the infrastructure there, like the academy teams, like G Academy team, RNT, Mogo. It's like these teams getting the correct coaching pieces and staff, the correct management in place, to help these players not only because the potential is there,
Hmm.
it's whether you live up to that potential,
Yeah.
right? And the reality is, this whole I've heard this too about people say like, "Oh, well, you think there's no hope. They're not going to get paid. They're not going to do this." I played my entire fucking career for $0, bro. My first salary was $1,000 with Selfless in Overwatch in 2018. Okay,
Mm.
2017, 2016. That was my first time getting salary. I had been playing video games competitively since 2001. That's 15 years I didn't get paid a dime.
Yeah.
Not a single dime, bro. And I did it for the love of the game. At
Hmm.
some point, bro, these NBA players, they don't play basketball when they're 12 years old. Like maybe they have hopes and dreams of being in the NBA, but the point of playing is not the NBA. The point of playing is because they love playing.
Exactly.
Okay? So you have to have the self drive, you have to have the self thing, and then you also need help. Like I said, we need the infrastructure in place. That's one thing, the reason why I want to help with the G Academy team, because I think representation matters. I
Yeah.
think having those avenues of growth matter. This is things that could help the Indian community as a whole, and I do think I would love to be a part of that process and love to say like this academy team or this in general helped one player, even one player, get on the VCT stage, and not just get on the VC stage, but succeed on the
Yeah.
VCC stage. Like, bro, we could have picked up 5 Indian players and maybe done, let's say, 10th place, right?
Yeah.
10th place. Is that really gonna make anybody happy?
Nope.
Nah, bro. You're gonna hear the same shit you've been hearing every year. Why do we suck?
Maybe
Why are we
worse.
here? You know what I mean? The 10th is giving them credit. That's just saying we did a good job. We worked our ass off. We had the right system in place. We made up for some certain things, some disinefficiency, just not having enough efficiency and this and that.
Yeah.
We made up for it in other ways, right? So like maybe we get 10th, ninth, right? So like, but the reality is like, the talent is there. It just needs to be cultivated. And that's the end of that, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's traditional sports, maybe you could play around and do stuff here and there, but in esports, if you're good enough, you will make it. There's no chance you can't. If you're good enough, you will 100% make it. There's no
Sooner or later, you
way.
get noticed.
No, there is no way that now one of those 48 teams across the entire planet, that now one of them notices you if you're good enough to shoot heads and play the game that you can. You can see politics in maybe others. You can see, a little bit of, nepotism in other sports maybe. But in esports, you very rarely see that happen to talent. And if you're good enough, if you're going to make it, Indian talent would be there. And I'm one of the people who wants it to happen. That's why I'm also trying to do something with this G Academy project, so that they get to learn from coaches like you, who get to maybe at some point, who knows, maybe with the five that come up and get into the G Academy, one of them eventually makes it to VCT, and that's the beginning of the next step of Indian generation trying to get and become players that they're supposed to be. But yeah, it is a process. Okay, last thing, one thing that you feel like the team needs, a problem that, not a problem, more like something that the team needs to fix immediately, and one thing that you were very surprised that, oh, we've already got this. That's amazing. One thing the team's really good at right now, and one thing that needs to be fixed.
Okay, so the first week, scaling and spacing sucked. It's not fixed, but it's not a huge problem anymore. Our
Okay.
scaling, our spacing, our trading has been so much better. Calming, 1 2 3 swing, 1 2 3 swing, 1 2 3 go into the smoke, 1 2 3 swing out the smoke. All the basics, the fundies, as the Lev likes to call them, as all the fundies have gotten down pretty well. We obviously have a lot of work still to do. There's a lot, and this is the fundies. The cool thing about the fundies. This is the cool thing about the fundies.
Mm-hmm.
You go a week without practice, everybody somehow forgets. We all forget. Like that's just the reality. The players, like, you go a week without practice, and the players just forget what works. They just, I don't remember what was working,
Mm-hmm.
and so you have to go. You have to fix that all the time. That's a constant thing and throughout the season.
Yeah.
But one thing that I'm that we haven't quite fixed. We have a lot of talented players who are very aggressive and are very confident.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you throw situations you shouldn't be, because you just, let me get that third kill. I
Yeah.
already got two, but let me just swing one more time and get that third kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's something that we have to work on. That's something I think that every team has to work on, dude. I don't remember the champ statistic, but I like statistics. But the champ statistic last year of like losing, there was one team that was good against ecos last year, and I think that was Fnatic. The rest
Mm-hmm.
of the teams, again, they're quote unquote anti-eco round, which is basically, the other team has pistols and
Yeah.
you have guns. Um, the like, it was like 20 or 30% win rate on ecos, which is like insane. That's like an
Yeah.
insane number. And that's something that we struggled with in Lev too. And like, I didn't know how to fix it. It felt like the shitty guns in this game are just so good,
The free gun is too powered.
and the players are so good with these shitty guns. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, bro, the players with the deagle are as scary as they are with a vandal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the players with deagles are just as scary as they are with Vandal. It's still one shot headshot, like, from across the map. So it's
Yeah.
just very scary to play those rounds, and that's something that we have to work on. And I think that's something that every team, I think if you ask them, every team will be like, yeah, this is a problem for us. Like, how do we fix these rounds? But I think it's just the product of the game, honestly.
One thing that you were really surprised that, okay, the team's really good at this, and we're gonna be, that's like you've got one strength of the team right now, very good strength.
Talent.
Talent.
Everybody's so fucking talented. Everyone is so fucking talented. It may not be up to the standards of what Lev was, but it ain't
Mm-hmm.
far behind.
All
And I
right.
told you already earlier today, talented Lev was the most talented team I've ever coached ever in my entire life, and
Yep.
we're not far behind that. But for you, you tell me. You got to see the practice. You saw some scrims. You tell me what you think.
I think okay. So the one thing I really like the innovation of the elements that you're bringing in, like what I mentioned to you on DM as well, right? I think we really like that. Some things that I did not expect, especially on the first thing that I spoke about, no flash thing, yeah, that on Ascent, what we had spoken about, yeah. So that was a very pleasant surprise to me. So I really like that, and I think overall the team. I think the only thing, if I had to say something that would be a little bit, was Kelly S maybe settling into an IGL plus a Sentinel role. Like, so he's completely changing his game style, completely to kind of set into this path, because he plays Raze a lot. Like you said, he plays KO a lot. If he's not playing Sentinel, of course, he will play whatever secondary initiator, secondary duelist as well if he needs to fill. But that's the only thing I felt like maybe him IGLing into that role, getting into that headspace to lead a team every single round with while also playing a different role himself might be a better thing. But looking at the way the team played in general, I feel the confidence is, I would say, it's a lot more fun confidence, right? It's a lot more fun in induced confidence. I really like that. I Professional confidence, yeah, it's always there. But when it's fun induced, you have a team that it together moves forward. It's not just one person that moves forward. So I really like that, because I feel like I could see that through the game itself.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone's like I said. Everyone really likes each other. They genuinely seem like they're pretty good friends already, and they're getting closer and closer every day for sure.
Yeah, and as always, criticize the player. Criticize the play, not the player. Forgive me. Criticize the play, not the player. The decisions that they make, and subscribe to Juvenile on his channel. He has been streaming almost every day. Almost every day. He's going to be
Yeah.
streaming continuously as well. Support him. Support the team. Subscribe to all of them. Do everything, guys. You know the drill. Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you, Coach, for your time. This has been pushed by 2-3 days, but thankfully we got the time to do this, and hopefully I get to do a little bit more of this after a couple of matches that we've had, so we get to see what the progress has been between now and then. And I get to pick your brain again about more game stuff this time, because right now I can't pick
Good
the
risk
game
say
stuff.
some.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna
Yeah.
see. Yeah. So, thank you so much, Coach, and have a good night.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate the GE family. I just want to say, yeah, this is pride process has been amazing, and just keep the love coming, man. Because the reality is we're not gonna have a perfect season. We're gonna have losses. We're not gonna go undefeated like Lev did.
Yep.
So just yeah, even when we have losses, just keep the love. Just keep your heads up. And I want to win for you guys. GE winning, boys. GE winning.